Hi everyone, welcome back to Little K Artistry. I am Kristen, also known as Little K, and this is my studio. Welcome to my safe space, my little corner of the art world. Before I start, I have to apologize for any squeaking that you might hear in the background. My dog, Mr. Bentley, has a new toy, and it's a little duck, and it's a squeaky toy, and he is walking around my house hiding it in different places. So you might hear from time to time a little bit of squeaking. I apologize if it is distracting, but it's Mr. Bentley trying to find a good place for his little ducky. Having said that, welcome to those of you who are new, and welcome back to those of you who are already subscribed to Little K Artistry. You can see I am well up over the 200 mark for videos. Some of the videos that I have done have just been purely fun. Some of them have just music and no words, and some of them, like this one, are a little more instructional for those of you who are just getting started in fluid art and you're looking to try some new styles. This is going to be a black hole cloud pour, and I don't know if anyone else is doing it. I don't know if I have coined the phrase, but this is what I'm calling a black hole cloud pour, and I have done a couple of them. You can see in the last few videos what they look like. And I am reclaiming an older canvas. This canvas did not have enough. I mean, it's wonderful. It's got some great spiral going on here, but it does not have enough contrast for me, and I don't love the piece. And I feel the way about art that I do the same way when I go shopping for new clothing. If I don't love it in the store, I don't buy it, because if I don't love it in the store, I just kind of like it. When I get it home, chances are I'm not even really gonna like it, so I don't buy it. But when I'm in the store, if I love it, then I'll buy it. Then when I get home, I still like it. So it's the same way with my art. If I look at a piece and it's dried and cured and I don't love it, I paint over it. Unless it's damaged, in which case I take it apart and put it in the dumpster. This one is not damaged, it's just, it's okay, I don't love it. So I am going to do a black hole cloud pour over this piece. This is a 16-inch, and this is a gallery wrapped. It's a deep edge canvas. That's what those are called. And I have a number of paints here that I have selected. And I found a photograph online that I am going to be using as my inspiration. I'm hoping to be able to include that in this video somehow, but I'm not sure how to do that. I might have to do that sometime later. But anyway, I have found inspiration for a black hole that also had, like, it looks like a nebula or something going around it. So it looks like a cloud pour, but there's a black hole in the middle. So it's very cool. So I have a number of paints colors that I'm working with. I have oxide black, I have warm white, I have an iridescent gold. This is also black. I also have a Prussian blue, I have a brilliant blue, I have a copper, this is Prussian blue as well, I have phthalo green, and then some more black. And the way I have these lined up is exactly how I'm going to be putting them in the cup. And I'm hoping that I'm going to get some good results here. I do not know. I'm also considering where I should put the cloud, and I'm wondering if instead of using the off-white, the warm white, I should just use, you know what, I'm going to switch this out, and I'm just going to use a little bit of titanium white, and then I'm going to substitute, I'm going to put in the cloud mix, and I have this all mixed up in my little squirt bottles. This is my cloud mix. And sometimes as you get your cloud mix, and sometimes with your other colors, you have them mixed up and they sit for a little while. Sometimes they get a little bit thick. So what I like to do, especially with the cloud mix, is a little bit thicker than I'm going to want it. So I'm going to take some out and put it in a cup, and I'm just going to add a little bit of distilled water just to thin it down. Because if the cloud mix, when you put the cloud mix in the cup, if it's thicker than all the other colors, can you hear the squeaking? If it's thicker than all the other colors, it will sink. And as you know, if you've seen any of these cloud pours done before, the color at the bottom of the cup is what comes out last is what comes out last and ends up in the center of your painting. And if your cloud mix is too heavy, or if it's heavier than all of your other paints, then what happens is when you pour it in the cup, it will sink and be all the way down to the bottom. So all of your clouds will be in the center of your painting. And because I have an itchy nose, I'm sorry. Because this is a black hole cloud pour, I don't want clouds in the center. It's still a little bit thick. It does tend to thicken a little bit as it sits. Mostly just the cloud mix does that. The other paints don't usually do that. And I like to mix my paints to a 2 or 3 second trace. Tiny bit more water. And again, as you've heard me say before in all of my other videos, the cloud pour is the only mix that I use, the US Floetrol. And it's just because I haven't found a medium that works as good at just this style than the Floetrol. And even my cloud pour is going to be a 2 or 3 second trace. So 2 or 3 second trace, it just means when you stir your paint in the cup and then you trace it along the cup, it takes 2 or 3 seconds before it disappears totally back into the cup. That's what we mean by a 2 or 3 second trace. Okay, that is all set. Now, I'm going to put down my base coat, which is Oxide Black. And the reason why I'm doing a base coat that's so dark is because I want this to look like space. I want there to be a lot of black in the background. So I'm hoping the black will show through and I'll get a really dark background. Because these colors, I'm only going to put a little bit in. I want them to show up, but I only want them to show up a little. Because space is pretty dark. There's Mr. Bentley with his squeaky toy. He's like right outside the door in the hallway. He's trying to get my attention, so I'll go play with him. I already did that, Mr. B. He is a mini dachshund. I don't know if any of you are familiar with the breed, but I have discovered, he's very intelligent, but I have discovered that he likes to hide things, mainly his toys. And if I give him a new toy, like I just did, he doesn't chew it. Usually he chews them up and like spits out, he gives him a squeaker-ectomy and takes all the stuffing out of it. It's like he'll have a toy for like 5 minutes maybe before it's destroyed. But sometimes, if I get him one, he really likes it. And this one is really small. It's a little yellow duck, soft little yellow duck. If he really likes it, he just takes it and hides it all around. It's very cute to watch him do it. He just prances around and, look what I have, Mommy. It's very cute. It's right outside the door. So I don't know if you guys have seen my other cloud videos or not. Hopefully you have. If you have any questions, definitely give a shout out in the comments. I'm just putting a little bit of paint down the sides here so that when I start to spin and stretch the composition, it will go down over the sides. The sides will be wet too. I don't want the sides to be dry because then the composition won't go down over the sides. So the paints, the colors that I'm using, again, I do use US Floetrol in the colors. They are mixed either 2 or 3 parts US Floetrol to 1 part of paint, and then I thin them to a 2 or 3 second trace with water. It's always distilled water. I never use tap water for any of my paintings. anytime the mix calls for water, it's always distilled water. I don't use tap water for anything, unless I'm just washing my hands. If it goes on the canvas, it's distilled water. Okay, that's a pretty dark background. Ooh, okay, now I need a cup. Now what I'm going to do is I am going to load the cup, and I'm going to go through the colors just one time. Typically I will load the cup and I'll do one layer and then I'll go back and I'll start again and do another layer. But the way I have these set up is the way I'm going to put them in the cup, and it's the way they showed up in the picture that I saw that I'm using as my inspiration. And I hope I'm able to make something really cool. I don't know. Okay. I am going to start with a little bit of the titanium white, and that is going in the center. This is not cloud mix. This is just titanium white and the Floetrol in water. Okay, titanium white. And now this is the rich gold. A little bit of that. And then a tiny, tiny bit of cloud mix. And then I am gonna do, is that the black? I'm gonna do black, but I'm gonna do it from this one because there's not a ton in here. A little bit of black. And then this is that Prussian blue. And then just a tiny bit of the brilliant blue. I don't need a lot. Tiny bit more of the cloud. This is the copper. And then this is that Prussian blue again. It's just a different container. This is Prussian blue. And then a tiny little bit, just a tiny bit of phthalo green. And this is black still. Again, it's just a different container with the black. I mixed a lot of black for this one. Okay. If this goes as planned, I don't know. We shall see. All right. Here we go. Okay. That picture is on my phone, or I would show it to you. I think this is going to be very similar. I mean, it doesn't have to be exact, right? Because this is an artist's representation of, oh, look at that cup. I love looking at what happens in the cup. You guys see that? And I am going to zoom in on this. Hopefully you can see. Oh, I didn't even check to see if the camera was still pointing at my canvas. Hold on. I'm going to come over there and see. Oh, I hope you guys didn't miss all of that. Okay, you can see most of it. All right, I'm so sorry. I meant to move my camera. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you can see what's going on in that canvas right there. Are those lights in the background being annoying? They are. I'm going to turn those off. Those are for ambiance. They don't necessarily work when you're trying to video. Then we want to get a whole bunch of lights reflecting. Okay. All right, so hopefully you guys can see this. I'm going to put a little bit more of the Prussian blue. I'm going to put a little bit more of the Prussian blue out here. And possibly a little bit more of the black, just to get it to move. When I get ready to spin it off, I want to make sure I can get it to move. Okay. I'm going to put the covers on these because I don't need these guys anymore. Set these guys aside so that when I start spinning, it doesn't go flying all over my jars. The link to those jars is in the information underneath the video. So if you're interested in getting those little jars with the covers, they're very handy. Okay, I'm going to spin this just to see what we've got for composition. That's just a little bit of that oxide black. I just don't want it to be all blue. I do want some black. This is beautiful. I don't know what you guys think, but I'm liking it. Drop a comment down below. Let me know what you think. I apologize for not moving the camera. So I meant to move the camera. I'm so sorry. I'm still learning how to do this, you guys. Bentley's got a squeaker. Some of you might be professional videographers. If you are, I'm so sorry. I'm not. And don't claim to be. So I do have some background noise. It's probably a little distracting, but it's my dog. And I love him, so I let him do his thing. Hey, Bentley. He's being such a good boy. This is really unique looking. And because of the bright gold, the deep gold and the copper, there's going to be a lot of shimmer in this one as well. Okay, now what I am going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of the black. This is looking really neat. I'm going to put a little bit of the black in my other container here, just because this one is really full. And then I want to put some of the black on the outer edges because I want there to be a little bit more black on this painting than what's here. And if I put it on the outside edges and then I spin it, it should give me what I'm looking for here. Let me spin this real quick. Some of the extra black will spin off, but some of it will stay. And that's what I'm looking for. There we go. That's what I was looking for, those corners to be black instead of, oh wow. Oh, you guys, this is really cool. So that middle part, this was just titanium white. There's no cloud in it at all. But the neat thing is what I put next to the titanium white is the iridescent precious gold by PBL. And that is actually forming some really neat looking cells. Totally cool. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the black hole kind of right here so that this, and this is I'm not going to spin any more of this off. This is, I think, going to be perfect just the way that it is. The artistic flair, or whatever you want to put your artistic spin on it, is where you actually position the black hole. And you can put it anywhere that you want. And I also like to use a little, this is just a little teaspoon, that way I can control how much I put on instead of just pouring it. I like to start out with a smaller one, and then I put it in there and then just kind of let it do its thing, because it's going to flatten out a little bit. And then I see where it is, and if that's where I want it, then I leave it there. Otherwise, I'll move it. Plane going up. I will enlarge it. But this one, what I think is I want this curl to be around, because if I remember correctly, in the picture that was my inspiration, the white part was all around the dark hole. The black hole. So I think what I'm probably going to do is aim for this area right here to be the black hole. So I'm going to start out really small. I always have to just say a little prayer because I never know if I'm going to ruin the painting or not by doing this. So I'm going to try just in the very center of the design. It's not the center of the canvas. It's just the center of this design. And I'm hoping I'm going to get the halo effect, because that's what I saw in the picture. And it's absolutely doing it. When I zoom you in, you guys will be able to see there's a little bit of white that's surrounding the black hole. And that's exactly what I wanted to happen. Oh my gosh, this is just so cool. I'm going to put a little bit more in there. I'm going to enlarge it a little bit more. I don't want it to be huge, but I do want it so that you can obviously see that it's... Oh. What do you guys think of this? I'm not gonna cry, I swear. Oh my goodness. Maybe I'll spin just a tiny bit, see if I can enlarge that black hole a little bit. The other thing that you can do, guys, is when you get this the way that you want it, if you put the black hole exactly where you want it, and what's been happening in some of them is if there's cloud mix, or if there is a shimmery like the iridescent gold that's up next to the black, it kind of bleeds in, so it makes kind of like a halo effect. If you don't want the halo effect, just let it dry, and then you can paint black around it, and you can paint over that halo effect if you don't want it there. I personally think it's super cool like that, but that's just my personal... Wow, you guys, this is... Okay. So the secret to getting a black hole cloud pour just the way you want it, there are a couple of things. First of all, you don't want to put cloud mix in the bottom of your cup. If you want a light color, just use a non-shimmery or a non-matte white color, something that's not going to make clouds. So the titanium white is not going to make clouds all by itself. Whatever color is you put in the bottom of your cup, that's going to be in the center of your swirl where you're going to put your black hole. Then you can put your cloud mix and all your other colors. The reason I chose this color palette is because the painting that I was inspired, the picture that I was inspired by, had white, had black, had blue, a tiny bit of green, which I seem to have lost the green. Maybe it will come back as it dries. I'm not sure, but I might need to put a little bit more green. But the green was just on the outside edges of the black hole. It was really very cool. But it was mostly gold and white and blue and black, and that's exactly what I've got here. So I'm going to come around there, and I'm going to zoom you guys in so that you can see this, and this might actually be my favorite one of all of them that I've made so far, because I've made a few. I am going to zoom you in, oh my goodness, so that you can see. This is so fun. Okay, first I'm going to zoom you in right on the center, because I want you to see what I'm talking about. See that halo effect that's happening around the outside edge of the black hole? That's because that iridescent precious gold is mixing a little bit with the black, and it's kind of bleeding into it a little. But if you don't like that, I mean, I love it, but if you don't like that when it dries, you can just paint the black. You can paint the outside of the black hole if you want to repaint it. What I think I'm going to do with this one when it dries is I'm going to do a little bit of white splatter so that it looks like there might be some stars in it. I might try that, but see how the big cells kind of went over the edge, those big clouds. And I'm very glad that I did the corners in black. Let me see if I can get you up over this a little bit better so you can see from up top. There. What do you guys think? Do you like this? This is blowing my mind right now. Okay. I am gonna stand this back up, and I'm gonna go back over here, and I'm gonna go like this, go back over here, and hopefully my head won't get cut off of the camera. Like I said, I'm not a videographer. I really hope you guys like this. If you have any questions about how to do a black hole cloud pour, drop me a message. I think my cloud mixes video, I think it's 171. And again, these are all mixed 2 to 3 parts Floetrol with 1 part of paint, and then water to thin to 2 or 3 second trace. And that's it. It's just about layering the cup, thinking ahead of time where you want the colors. Like I wanted the darker colors on the outside edge, so the top part of the cup was more the dark blue and the dark green and the black, and then just a little bit of that gold and a little bit of that copper. And this is this is what you get. This is I have no words, you guys. I've run out of words. The more I look at it, the more I'm so happy. I've come to the point in my art journey where I wanted to be when I first started 2 years ago, and I watched all these incredible painters. And I know if you guys are following me, if you're subscribed to me, then you're subscribed to all the other Lisa Marvin and Shelley Carruthers and Willie B from Willie B Studios, and you're subscribed to all these Olga Sobey and Rinske Daunia and all these fantastically wonderful artists. It was my goal when I started to do this, was so that I could conceive of something, in this case dream it. I could see it, get inspired by a picture, and this particular color scheme is a picture that I was inspired by, and then I could go into my studio and I could create it. And at this point in my art career, I'm able to do that, and I cannot tell you how thankful and how grateful I am to all of those wonderful artists that I subscribe to. Please go out there and find them and subscribe to them. If you want to know who to subscribe to, drop a message in the comments, and I'll tell you who I subscribe to. A lot of artists, more every day, because I feel like we should be supporting each other and subscribing to one another's channels and just sharing the art, because it's all beautiful and we all want to see it. And it's not a contest. So subscribe to people, learn, watch, learn, and practice over and over and over again. You cannot even count. It's over 1,000 paintings that I've done. And most of them never seen the light of day. I've painted over them, or I just straight up threw them away. The smaller ones is like, yeah, that's not happening. But then I get to the point where I'm looking around my studio at these pieces of art that I've created, and they've been inspired by all these wonderful artists who went before me. So please subscribe to them. Please learn from it. If you learn from me, great. If not, find somebody else. If my art inspires you, that's That's the greatest compliment ever. If you told me that my art inspired you, that would be the best compliment ever. Totally. I would love that. And just do the art, make the art, try it. If you fail, do it again. If you fail again, do it again. The only time you fail truly is when you stop trying. And I never stopped trying. And trust me, there was so many times I wanted to quit. And I did. I would quit for a day and then I would come back and I would do some more. So don't give up. Please, if you're frustrated now, ask me, ask the people that you're subscribed to, that you're following, ask questions. We're willing to help. If we're not willing to help, okay, whatever, move on, find somebody else. But ask the questions, learn. And if this really becomes a passion of yours, just do it. Do it every day. There have been very few days in the last 2 years that I've not painted. And it's been for one of two reasons. Either I wasn't healthy enough or I didn't have any more paint. I've run out of paint a couple of times, you guys. So, but by and large, I paint every day. I can't not. I love it so much. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you love this as much as I'm loving this. If I can find a way to like screenshot this painting and the inspiration piece together and put them on one picture, I will do that. So that you can see what inspired me. And maybe if I can, I'm trying to think of a way that I could do it and then have that as the cover piece for this video. If I can do that, I will. But thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate your time, and as ever, I know that your time is precious. It is valuable, and you can't get it back once you've spent it. Once it's gone, you can't get it back. So I am acutely aware of that. I'm extremely grateful that you chose to spend a few minutes with me here in my studio, and I hope it was worth the time for you and that you really enjoyed this black hole cloud pour. I'm going to be doing a bunch more. Don't you worry about that. They might not all be instructional like this one. They might just be me painting with the music, and sometimes they're sped up a little bit, but either way, you'll get to see. Wow, okay, pretty. Mesmerizing. Thank you guys for joining me. And this is Little K, and I'm just reminding you, go make the art. Have a beautiful day, guys.